In a bid to stem the on-again, off-again battle between locals in Soweto and spaza shop owners, which are run mostly by foreign nationals, the Department of Small Business Development and the Soweto Business Access organization have agreed to give support and buy locally made products. The agreement comes as South Africa grapples with the continuing violent skirmishes that prop up between locals and foreign nationals who run these spaza shops. Now, the organization says this agreement will be extended across the country to support small businesses. I'm joined by Mphuthi Mphuthi, who is the chief servant of the Soweto Business Access. Mphuthi, thank you very much for your time. Let's go back a little bit, Mphuthi, and talk about the ongoing battle, which is decades old, where between foreign-owned spaza shops and other shops in Soweto regarding who owns which shop and who runs which shop. This is part of the township economy, which is valued at over R1 billion a year, and there have been issues there. Talk to us about those issues that have been there over the years.
Mr. Mbanjwa, thank you for this opportunity, and good evening to the viewers. Yes, it is true that there have been skirmishes between locals and foreign nationals operating in a township. I think the most important thing is to remember that the likes of NAFCOC, through the leadership of the late Ndate Semu Zwenyane, the late Ndate Richard Maponya, have fought vigorously for townships to be recognized. You remember that since the apartheid era, Black people were prohibited from operating businesses in the township. So the shops that you are seeing in the townships, they came through sweat, blood, and tears. And as a result, it is not surprising when you see locals saying South Africans must be given priority when it comes to the usage of those shops in the township. But I'm happy to say that despite the fact that as far back as 2015, when these skirmishes started, there has been some progress. You remember that when we met the then small business minister, Lindy Wezulu, were saying she needed to ensure that retailers are supported. At that stage, there was no support, but I'm happy to tell you that with this current administration, there's been a great deal of support for retailers. So we are now excited to see all our work that we started at Soweto Business Access from 2014. It is now bearing fruit because we are now getting support from the Department of Small Business. And I need to hasten to add that the discussion with the Small Business Department is not an exclusive relationship that Soweto Business Access has with the department, but it is a first of its nature in the biggest township called Soweto.
That is quite an important note to make, because wherever there has been these skirmishes from time to time that have come up, they have been quite expressed, well expressed in the Soweto area. Talk to us about this latest meeting and what has been agreed, as it has now a groundbreaking meeting.
Well, you would remember that, as I said, we've been an advocacy group since 2014. So skirmishes or standoff between us and government are nothing new. We have been on record as saying we are not in the business of being friends with government. We are in the business of being partners with government, meaning it is very rare to see pictures of people from Soweto Business Access taking pictures with ministers, especially when ministers do not deliver. And as a result, we pride ourselves on the fact that we now can speak of successes like the Township Economic Development Act, which comes after a great deal of lobbying. Now that we've got the Township Economic Development Act, we now need to move towards implementation that is going to create jobs for our people. So the reason I'm raising that is because we are happy with the direction that is being taken by the current minister in the form of Minister Stella Ndabeni, who is saying she recognizes the importance of the township economy, and I'd like to believe that the fact that she's setting up a task team that is led by the acting DG in association with the CEOs of both CIFA, CEDA, and other dignitaries within the department. The fact that she's setting up a task team like that in order to make sure that the township economy gets attention, it means that is a move that we appreciate, and we believe that we need to give praise where it is due. So we are happy about that. Now, in terms of the meeting with the small business department, the department came to Soweto after a great deal of failures before. But the department did come to Soweto Business Access, and we had manufacturers of sauces, people that manufacture paint, people that manufacture all sorts of things coming to prove to the government that they are seeking support because their products are shelf ready and all they now need is access to opportunities. It needs to be remembered that a lot of them have knocked on the doors of big retailers like Pick n Pay, ShopRite, etc., without much success. And the conclusion was then made that let us ensure that we create a retail ecosystem that is going to make sure that those that are ready to supply the products, they will find comfort and business through township retailers as opposed to waiting for big retailers like ShopRite.
Mphuthi, not only have you agreed that you are going to source products locally, such as locally made paint, but you've also said that a certain amount of money will be spent on those, whether it's archer, whether it's hair products, whatever it is that is now shelf ready in the townships will be sourced locally and will be put in the shelves of these local shops. How much money has been set aside in terms of promises that you are going to spend for these small products?
Mr. Mbanjwa, I need to give praise to the Gauteng government who have worked with a group called Family Tree Holdings to establish what is known as the Kasim Noto Fund. And in the process, there's 100 million that is now available to empower an assortment of initiatives that are geared towards township economic revitalization. And as a result, we have said to the small business department, for every 10,000 that they put on the table, we as Soweto Business Access, we are raising or we are matching their 10,000 with 20,000 from the private sector. We are also mobilizing an additional 20,000 from communities which are being formed into Stokvel using the Stokvel app. So what that means is for every outlet that government assists with grant funding for 10,000, we are raising 40,000. And the reason we are doing that is so that we can ensure that government does not seem to carry the load of township economic support on its own. And that is why we are saying in everything that we are doing, we are bringing experts that are going to make sure that that money is well spent. Now, in answer to your question, we have committed to taking products like these ones. We are taking products like these ones which are made in the townships. And we are saying each and every one of these products, we are giving them contract for about 250,000. The purpose of giving them 250,000 rands worth of contract is so that it makes it easy for them to go and secure additional funding from both the private sector as well as government because of the magnitude of the orders that we are placing with them. And then we have then roped in the likes of the Informal Economic Development Forum, whose task we hope will make it easy for a lot of informal businesses to be formalized. You'd remember that they are a very organized formation. And as a result, every one of the 5,000 SMEs that we are dealing with, they are going to be guided by the Informal Economic Development Forum, the IEDF, so that ultimately we can be able to meet the professionalism that people see in other retailers. Those are going to be found within our retailers, our own retailers. But it is important to remember what Mam Hilda Pito normally says, that we need to do everything in our power to save our communities from abomashonisa. It has come to our attention that a lot of money that is being spent by our government through SASSA grant, it is being, chowed by abomashonisa. So the engagements with the likes of Stockfeller, it is to be able to make sure that we assist people that are earning grant money to be shareholders within the retailers that we are empowering, so that by them buying from those retail outlets, they are actually buying from themselves. And the hope is that we can then be able to help them stretch that rent. So these are all the innovations that we are coming up with in order to make sure that our economy, at least money must circulate in our economy 3 times. It is important that we avoid the situation where you find that as soon as grant money comes into township, it leaves through retailers like ShopRite, et cetera, et cetera. So through these 5,000 retail outlets, we are making sure that at least the money circulates 3 times in our economy, so that people that manufacture beautiful products, as you can see, these are professionally made. These are not inferior products. These are made by our gogos, but they are professionally made. If you look at it, is very rare to hear of marinades that are made by by Black people, but we do have people like these that the department has said they are prepared to support, and we are now creating a market through these 5,000 outlets.
Mphuthi Mphuthi is the chief servant of the Soweto Business Forum, a new agreement, a groundbreaking agreement that is now going to be populated and extended to other communities and townships across the country, as this issue is not a Soweto issue only, but it's a South Africa issue. Mphuthi Mphuthi, thank you very much for your time. Well,